Hey, good morning, everybody. Yeah, I got my check-in time for tomorrow. It's 1 a.m. So, I got off work on my Saturday afternoon, and I was up for a little bit, made me an egg sandwich, and went to bed. So now it is 1 o'clock in the morning. That's how you train your sleep. Not to mention, I want to have this done and get all of everything that I put together mailed today. UPS store. Probably a couple $100 because this is like 60 pounds of fabric heading her way. So right now we're pinning the patchwork. Now I'm not a quilter. You know, I know how to sew, but there's some mistakes in here that I was like, I'm not going back and fixing it. It's going to throw everything off. And I ain't got time. But it's so minor that it's not going to make it different. So, and God help me, should this end up being the child's favorite blanket. Every child gets a favorite blanket. And they choose it. I had several, and I had this one, my God, it had edging, it had satin edging. I remember my mom, she ended up stitch ripping the satin edging off of it because it was hanging. I had carried that thing around with me everywhere. Yeah, I don't know what she ever did with it. If she put it in a blanket, it might be in a pillow somewhere, you know, to save it. She might have just said fucking threw away, but yeah, every child has their blanket. My niece had a blanket, and then my mom started making personalized ones, and now we all have a blanket. I have one. This is not a blanket. This is just to bring the whole bed thing together, and when the baby gets older and can use a comforter in their bed, like when they're 1 or 2 and they're still in the crib kind of thing, and she gets a little older than that, then she wants to have it on her bed. You know, I have a small version of, I have a little what the hell is wrong with this pen? Jesus. Making me crazy. I don't want to snag them. These pins suck. When she gets a little older and she doesn't want to, you know, get underneath the big covers, she has this kind of like a Snuggie. I have 2 on my bed, plus my blanket, plus my mink blanket, plus the quilt that my grandmother made me. Depends on how I'm feeling. Shit, I'm menopausal. My temperature changes by the hour. I thought it would be done by now, but it's not. The only thing that I've accomplished thus far in the menopause journey is that I no longer have to invest in female feminine products. Yeah, so packed up the stuff that wasn't opened yet and put it in a bag and it's like, yeah, here kid, you're gonna need this stuff. Probably sooner than later. Alright, why are you all weird? I had you lined up. We're gonna end up being on the floor again, I got a feeling. It doesn't really matter because this I got this here, this pink. I cut it extra wide. This is not how big it's going to be when I get done. It's going to end up getting probably half of this width. 1.5 to 2 inches cut off to make room to roll the back onto the front and then stitch it. So yeah, it's not going to be quite that big. Yeah, something like that. But I gotta cut all this off, but I want to get the middle all pinned together tight enough. And this thing is just, it shifted again. It's fucking making me crazy. Why did you shift again? The backside is just a hair bigger than the you're not right. No, you are right. Okay. One of these might not be perfectly 90. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna get this done. I'm gonna get it in and get it stitched around the patchwork, and the edge is gonna get stitched all the way around to hold it on the batting. There we go. That's the reason why we're pinning this right now. And we're trying to put them in a position where I don't need to take the pins out. To keep it all together in the middle, so the middle doesn't flop around, because I've got to go around a second on the inside to keep it tight together. This is going on last. When it's all flat, nothing shifting around, I'll put that lace on there. But yeah, we're working at 1 a.m. Why? Because I've got to be to work again tonight at 1 a.m. for my job. Might as well keep it all together. You know, we're on this 1 a.m. cycle. So yesterday I did a video regarding things to look for, or things that are gonna happen. He's gonna behave a certain way, or whoever are gonna behave a certain way that is going to kind of shock you. And it's that shock factor that throws you for a loop. Like, you see skits on YouTube and, you know, shorts and stuff where, you know, the actors act out these scenarios and whatnot. And it's one thing for someone to have no emotional control and act crazy about a situation that, or they just don't have any, they don't realize that how they are acting is hyperinflated to the situation. There are people out there like that. You've got to associate the situation and then look for one characteristic within it. And that characteristic is turning the situation back on you. Now, I have a video where I'm talking about how I was so mad, I was upset, and I basically said something to the fact, when my sister had cropped me out of the photo, right? And everybody devalued me. I called crying. That is so fucking mean. Yada, yada, yada. Why would she do that? Yada, yada, yada. Well, my emotions were so discredited and devalued in regard that I put her on blast on Facebook. Fucking went off. Right? And then, of course, the family, you know, that's something to be upset about. You know, when you see something, you know, cruel happening to you, yeah, be upset. That's probably a good idea. You know, defend yourself. It's okay. But I mean, honest to God, I wish I had wrote down the entire scenario, because what I remember happening that day when he fucking started going off about something, and I'm like, that's kind of mental, right? Why are you fucking tripping, dude? Why are you tripping? Didn't make any sense. You know, and I grew up with with a mom who had a very irrational temper at times, and so I could see what was rational and what was irrational, and what he was demonstrating was complete irrationality to whatever it was. I can't even remember what the fuck it was. All I know is that I made excuses for it in the journal. I just made excuses. I don't even think I just defined what the situation was, because it was kind of undescribable. Now the weird thing is, you know, when you get close to somebody's mother, and they're like, oh yeah, he's yelled at me and made me cry. He's yelling at you and making you cry over something that is bothering him. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. But what they will do is turn it on you with insults. That's when it becomes a problem. That's the part you need to look for. That's the devaluing. And it's not like what he would, you didn't even raise your kid. How would you know how to raise children? I know that, you know, he never listened to anything like when I did get up, you know, open and vulnerable, explaining the upbringing and, you know, how I felt like I was a scapegoat child. You know, whenever anything went wrong, I'm the one who got it. Full tilt boogie. You know, or if something was bothering my mom, she wasn't taking out on my older sister. She wasn't saying anything to the fact to my older sister, kind of, you know, parentificating her into being a therapist or anything like that, because my sister was like 10 years older than me, right? Anyway, I'm sitting there thinking, she didn't discuss anything or have anything, you know, take it out on her. But if I came in and I was the helper, right? It's like, oh, she's mad, she's looking for something, I'll try to help her. I was the one who got her rage. She didn't take it out on my sister for not helping her. She took it out on me for helping her. In which the older sister was there, saw what happened. Younger sister was in the doorway, saw what happened. You know, it was wild. So when I was explaining a lot of these little different situations that I had encountered where my mother was not punishing to fit the crime, my mom was spontaneous, combustive, and fucking going off. He disregarded that, so when he did the same thing to me, he turned it around on me, so he put me back into the situation that I was raised in. Yeah. This is why, you know, they say don't divulge too much. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I had already, you know, got vulnerable and already told too much. And now, how do you untell it? You can't. And when you're dealing with these type of people, they're going to turn it on you. They're not going to sympathize with you. They're not going to, you know, you know, say, wow, that sucks, dude, you know. But, you know, and it was, I can't remember how we got on the subject or why I was telling the story or whatever, but, you know, when you drink, you kind of talk too much. Everybody does. You know, I love my mom. Always loved my mom. The problem was, I went through life not thinking she loved me. Where, in fact, she does love me. And she had a very bad hormonal imbalance for many, many, many years. Oh, she doesn't play that favoritism game anymore. Not, well, I've kind of said my piece in fact too. I've also done the no contact with her and the entire family. And my daughter is very much she's kind of the fly on the wall. She stays in the background. Yeah. She's like a professional ghoster. I'll message her something and it'll be a week before she gets back to me. It makes me kind of crazy. I hate it. It's like, I wish she would. Yeah, it takes 5. Now, I know that if I message her at 7 o'clock in the morning, I am not going to get this child awake. She's going to message me when she looks at her phone, and she doesn't live on her phone. She doesn't sit there and play video games and shit like that on her phone. She takes care of her house. She does things that are important. You know, she has a job. She cleans and, you know, takes care of stuff. And then when she gets a minute, her phone is more like an entertainment thing, taking a break, and she'll look at it, right? And she uses it to communicate. So when she does finally look at it, and it could be 3 days, you know, she'll message me back. That, or the other scenario is that my older sister, who makes me fucking cuckoo, stalks the child and doesn't let her have any peace and is constantly fucking trying to communicate all day long, every day. Because my sister is now in that weird dynamic dealing with a codependent, egomaniacal, arrogant asshat. Yeah. Is he narcissistic? I don't know. If he is, he's a very sucky one. But anyway, it just morning gab, sewing, kind of reflecting because I went and watched it again. It's like, yeah, remember he would lose his fucking marbles over nothing. He was fuck. I can't remember. I probably put it on video a long time ago. All right, where's my fucking pan? Give me a second. This is one particular scenario that I remember like clear as day, and it was toward the end of the relationship when he was trying to hold it together, forcing himself not to lose his fucking marbles. See, they do have control. They know what they're doing. Anyway, it was after a discard. I'd come back again. Anyway, there was this, I don't know, it's when, if you cook something really greasy, like, I think I did, like, beef quesadillas or something, right, in a pan like this, not, well, it was a cheaper version. These are my Greystones. These things are the fucking best. I love these pans. Yeah. Granite stone. Yeah, anyway, so it had this, like, it was a tallowed grease. He couldn't get, the Dawn wouldn't break through it. He could not get this fucking little swatch of grease off. and he's stressing, and it was probably on the backside, because that's where it usually accumulates. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And he's sitting there, and he's like mumbling, and I don't know what I was doing, probably typing my journal, right? You know, fucking guys freaking out on the fucking dishes, whatever, and and he's like, and he screams, "God damn it!" And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Every time you cook. And I'm like, what are you fighting with over there? I can't get this fucking thing off. And I reached over and I grabbed one of those. I have this like pink Brillo type of. Yeah. I had the blue one at his house. But anyway, I grabbed that and I took it, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I took it, and and it came right off. He fucking threw the sponge and dropped the pan, slammed it on the counter, and fucking walked away into the bathroom. I'm like, looking at it, I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. Continued to wipe off the rest of it, rinsed it, put it in the drainer. Meanwhile, he's having a silent rage fit in the mudroom. Mommy, you got this in the wrong spot. We'll put it away in a minute. She put it on top. I don't know why. I got a spot underneath there. She couldn't find it. Yeah, this kitchen has no organization whatsoever. I don't know why she likes to clean in here. I have fucking no idea. She likes to. So she came in, she did the mopping the floor, I did the bathroom, made my bed, changed my sheets, folded a bunch of laundry, you know, stuff like that. It keeps her busy. She loves it. She was here breaking down my Amazon boxes and, you know, whatnot to bring it to recycling when I got here. She'd been here a couple hours. I gave her $100. Big $100 bill or 520s or 250s or whatever the fuck it is, that combination. I give her $100 to come in, and she spends anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, and she just maintains the insanity a little bit. It's not, you know, it's not like Midwest cleaners people, but it just takes that little bit of edge off of my life to where I don't have to go through and do all this stuff. She comes in while I'm at work. I mean, she doesn't go as far as like my sister's housekeeper comes in. She's there for like 8 hours, right? Like once or twice a week. And she does all the laundry, wash and dry, and cleans bathrooms, 2 bathrooms, you know, 4-bedroom house, kitchen, mops, sweeps, mops, all, you know, whole 9 yards. My sister's house is huge. Sometimes my mom will come in and I will have gotten a wild hair, and the kitchen is clean. Clothes are folded. You know, I do them before I go to work, and then I put them back in the basket, and I'll put them away when I have more time. You know, shit like that. And she doesn't have that much to do. She thinks of other stuff to do. So she goes in and she cleans the refrigerator. She goes, "Oh, you didn't leave me much to do, so I figured I'd clean your refrigerator this week." Or if I get on stuff, she'll clean the stove. She'll do something that's time consuming. Keep up with it. But, and it earns her money. And it keeps her busy. The woman is going to be 80 here soon. She's still running. She's going to be a centenarian. She's going to outlive us all. Purpose of these videos is to bring people up to awareness. There's toxicity everywhere you go. There's toxicity in your job. There's some toxicity that you can't control. Like, I can't control that there are crazy fucking drivers on the road, and they are 90% of my problem when I'm angry. Sometimes, like yesterday, my mom even said, she goes, all of the nut jobs are out. I was like, oh my God, yeah. She goes, I got caught behind some guy on 80, and it's a 55. He was doing 40 in a Mustang, brand new, had that, you know, dealer tag. I was like, oh, the walk-off tag? She goes, yeah, the one that, you know, it's white with type. I was like, yeah, that one, walk-off tag. I said, she goes, and then out of nowhere, he just fed up. Like a lunatic. I said, yeah, I got caught behind one of those the other day, too. Not a Mustang, though. Different car. Yeah. And then let me see. No signals. People stopping when they don't need to stop. With no signals. So I'm sitting there. There's no stop sign on the perpendicular lane. I'm sitting there waiting. I see this car coming. And they slow down. And then they stop. And I'm looking at them. Why are you stopping? There's no stop sign. There's no signal. So are they waiting for me to get out of the way so they can turn? Because it's kind of a narrow road. Or are they going left? There's another pickup truck coming. But he was further down the road. Like way down the road. So, I mean, you could see. He was way away. I had time to cross over. Right? So I cross over and then leave them there. I'm like, what are you doing? They were turning left. Nothing coming. They could have fucking gone. It wasn't a four-way stop. Out in the middle of Podunk. Baxter. Where the hell was I? Barda. Who knows? Anyway. People, they get into these situations, they don't know what they're looking for, and they don't realize how fast they can get manipulated by the reactive abuse type of... They call it reactive abuse. It's basically you're snapping. It's called snapped. If you're being abused to such a point where you finally get fed up and you fucking lose it on them, like retaliate, like reciprocate the assholery, yeah, that they have labeled that as reactive abuse. It's not. You've had enough, and you just fucking go off. Yeah, I've done that. I don't think anybody in this world has not done that. Get sick of somebody's shit and fucking just blah. But they drive you to that, and then when you do, they sit all calm and act like they didn't do anything. And devalue and dismiss how you're feeling to set you off in that direction. If you've been in these kind of situations, and I've been in it many times, not just with the douchebag. My family used to do this crap to me. Once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. Once you see the crazy in the narcissist, you can't unsee it. And they crazy make. God, 2 years. God, Lord have mercy. When I left that relationship, I was losing my motherfucking mind. Yep. Because it wasn't just me. I was, protecting or trying to hold it all together. The kid. And when the kid wasn't there, I no longer had a purpose. That was obvious. So it was like a slow, drawn-out exit. It wasn't very long, though. A few months. But yes, I am wiser for the wear. Now, shit, I've been propositioned by like 6 different people in that 2 years. And every fucking one of them has a defect to some extent. Like, nope. Nope. Nope, you're not moving in with me because you are a shitbag. Nope. Why do they proposition me? What is proposition me? People who are in between residences. They're not established. That's who propositions me. They don't have a direction in life. They don't, yeah, they got a job. but they don't have any stability in their own right. They're not propositioning me to be like, yeah, come live with me and we'll fix your house and sell it. Nope. That was the con that the last one did. But no, none of these, they don't have their shit together. They don't remotely have their shit together. Yeah. You know, they may have motorcycles and they may have their little kinker toys and things like that, but they don't have their own established household where they have it together. Have it together. Doesn't have to be the best house. Doesn't even have to be the best bike. You know, just have your shit together. Some of them have their shit together, but they have no direction. They're just kind of going through the motions. I need someone in my life. No, you need a housekeeper. Hire somebody. That ain't me. Because I work more than you. So, yeah. If you see the signs, don't hesitate. Don't rationalize. Don't weigh options. Don't think you can fix them because you can't. Because he's got a trail. He's got a small parade of previous discarded toys. Yeah, island of discarded toys. Me and 7 other fucking women. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm not the only one dealt with this son of a bitch. I'm just one of the checkpoints. Yeah. He's got a new one. So now there's going to be 2 after me. Baby mama, she's got like 5 after her. Not including me. She like me. We get along. Her and I talk. Share notes. That kind of thing. Yeah. I'm the start of the new era of discarded toys. She's the queen. I'm the princess. Anyway, y'all, have a great weekend. I'm going to get back to this shit. Peace.